I want you to introduce Erinn Alexis and Tariq Gardner, everybody. How about give me a hand? Saxophone and drums. We got a whole band ready to go.
All right.
We got a guitar, Stevie on a guitar. I could sit there and I'll give you the
how's everyone
manager.
doing?
Good. Thanks for taking the time to come here.
Hi guys,
Hi.
how we doing?
How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. We've been hearing things about
So
you
glad
guys.
to be here today.
So let's start with you. Erinn. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, I have been definitely practicing a whole lot because I have a lot of time since we're in a pandemic now. So just really trying to work on my craft, practicing, writing some things, arranging some things. Just really trying to prep myself to get back in the game so that when we actually can start performing live and performing more, then I'll be ready to go and hit the road, when to
Who's
stop.
some of your favorite sax players?
Everybody asks that question.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right?
It is. Right now, I'm studying a lot of Maceo Parker, that R&B sound, that funk sound. Some Kenny Garrett as well. He's Detroit-based saxophonist, Kenny Garrett, most definitely. Those are the two sounds that I'm really digging into right now. The whole funk R&B thing.
Is there even though you guys are jazz, and I know there's all kinds of jazz, but just being from Detroit, we were talking about this the other day, with Martha Reeves and those guys, you can't help but have some kind of funk influence, R&B influence on everything that comes through Detroit. I don't care if it's rock and roll, punk, whatever. It just seeps into your blood when you're raised there. Do you find that true even in the jazz world?
Without a doubt. The music scene in Detroit has been storied just as being just very broad in terms of musicians, people's musicality. There's a whole list of cats that I could rattle off, name, from Pistol Pete Allen, noted Motown drummer, from Marcus Belgrave to Spider Webb to George Davidson, who would go from laying down tracks for Motown sessions and would immediately leave to go and play gigs at jazz clubs. It's just a very large breadth that the Detroit musicians have always had, and it's always been a part of the culture here. From the jazz scene to whatever scene you could think of that's over here, and we do have everything.
What was your musical education like? How did you make the jump from just being a kid in school, playing a band or whatever you're doing, and then now you're a jazz musician? What was the transition? Was there a defining moment or a thing that snapped, or you had an opportunity? What was that story?
I can take this one.
You going? Yeah.
Well, cause my story is a little bit interesting because I was homeschooled, so I didn't have a traditional music education background. Being homeschooled in Detroit, it's very much in the suburbs. I had concert band, things like that. But as far as my jazz education, I really learned from the community. As soon as I expressed an interest in jazz, I got connected with Michigan State's Community Music School. And they had a jazz program. So I started there learning jazz saxophone. And from there, I just met more and more people, found out about more and more. There's so many jazz programs and music programs here in the city for Detroit for young people. And that's really where I got my education from, was for the community. I met mentors like Marcus Belgrave, Marion Hayden, and Leslie DeShazar, Dwight Adams. I could go on and on about mentors who really just embrace the young people. So I didn't really have the marching band program or the jazz school program. I learned how to play from mentors and musicians here in Detroit, just kind of taking me under their wing and showing me how it's done. So yeah, that's kind of how where my musical background came from.
Can you tell us about the Black Women Rock movement?
Yeah, Black Women Rock. So Jessica Caremore is a poet based out of here in Detroit City, and she's curated Black Women Rock, which is a rock band that tributes Betty Davis, who was Miles Davis's wife at a point in time.
They call me different. They say I'm different.
They say I'm different.
That's the
I'm a
song.
piece of sugar cane. Yep. I can rattle it off for you right now.
I can help. I can back you up.
Yeah, we tribute Betty Davis as Black women in rock because it's very overlooked. Like rock music is like there's a certain view of it as far as demographically of how we perceive rock music, but not a lot of people know that there are Black women out here who are really rocking it out on stage, playing funk. We had a heavy metal artist on our last concert, a couple ones, Militia Vox. We have Divinity Rocks. A lot of different Black women who play rock music, and it really brings attention and awareness to the community that is often overlooked. So I play the horn section. I'm the saxophonist in the Black Women Rock Orchestra. We traveled. We've played in San Francisco. We've played in Pittsburgh. We always have a show here in Detroit, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we weren't able to have it this year. But it's a movement created by Jessica Caremore that really helps to build up Black women, empower Black women, and such forth.
You got any tracks we can download or get a hold of for people listening at home? Because right now, I just want to go start downloading stuff right now after you
I don't have any personal tracks right now. I'm working more on assignment and live performance. Well, now that we're at home, I might start laying some stuff down. I don't have any tracks personally, but Tariq, you got anything?
I want to hear that band you're in, I want to hear the orchestra.
Definitely.
Tariq, what are you
Black
doing?
Women Rock Orchestra is amazing.
We have videos online. If you look up Black Women Rock Detroit,
I'm gonna
find videos. Yeah, you can find videos.
I might rip some audio out of there and put it on my playlist.
You might want to talk to Jessica Caremore first.
Maceo has a new album, right? Soul Food, I think it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, Maceo's an old friend of mine. We played together for a while. So
you're all U of M, right?
Yeah, yes, I graduated in 2018 in the wintertime. Go Blue and Such.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm telling you.
Ain't gonna be no graduating for a while now.
My very last gig before the pandemic was playing at somebody's socially distanced senior recital, and that was the last one they had in person.
Oh, what a bummer, man.
He did, but I'm glad I could help him out. Really glad I could help my man out, honestly.
It's got to be pretty. It's got to be pretty competitive, the music scene in Detroit, right? Like you got to be good to play.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
There's that, but it's such a community. There's so much of the tribe in there. I have a lot of big brothers, who I call big brothers out here that are just so willing to share and willing to teach. And I have a lot of little brothers out here that I'm willing to share with, willing to teach. And at the end of the day, it's so much about community. I find my place in the community pretty much based on a lot of my legacy that I come from. My mother is a jazz bassist, Marion Hayden. She headlines Straight Ahead and a lot of other groups. Played with Marcus Belgrave, Donald Walden. The list can go on and on and on. And so I've really found a lot of my place being here. Like I was raised sitting on my godmom's lap while she was having rehearsals, So
wow.
I was taught by her, taught by George Davison, taught by the community. And I found it very important to use the music to be an activist with in these times. Like as you can see above me is a poster of Max Roach. He's one of my idols, one of my heroes, honestly. And he preached activism mostly in his music. And there's tons that I can share in terms of like people that have been activists through the music over here. I wanted to make sure that I recount this story that was very significant to me of Marcus Belgrave. Now, Marcus Belgrave, he played trumpet with Ray Charles. He played trumpet, and he found his home in Detroit. His son and I are very close to this day. And it was a few years ago. It was a Negro League game at Comerica Park. Had to be maybe 2006, 2007. I was a little one. And so he was supposed to play the national anthem over there. And what happened was I came into the little powwow, me and his son, everything. And so he was like, okay, so I'm gonna play Lift Every Voice and Sing, right? And they were like, no, you're gonna play the Star Spangled Banner. And he was like, but it's the Negro League games. Why should I play Star Spangled Banner? And Lift Every Voice and Sing is germane to this.
Right.
And you know, the person who got him on was taking all types of heat for it and everything. And so he was like, okay, no, it's fine. So to me, you know, it seemed like he was gonna acquiesce. And then when we came out to see what would happen, we went on stage. We went up in the stands and we saw him get into the diamond. And what he did was he played an introduction to the Star Spangled Banner that was Lift Every Voice and Sing. And one of the most strong lines that you'll remember that, you know, the let us march on till the battle, till victory is won. And then, say, all that. And so what he did to me, he showed activism in his music through his creativity and the fact that he was not going to be stifled. And he didn't have to just dissent upon what was asked of him. He managed to find a way through the middle and use his music to be an activist, you know, split between who's necessarily in charge and what is right for what's going on. And so that's a lesson that I take with me and I'm going to take with me for a long time.
Good. You keep that, man. That's a good story. Didn't they play? I think they played Lift Every Voice and Sing before one of the first baseball games, if I remember, along with the Star Spangled Banner. I know people in comedy have done that same thing, like let a room walk on them just because they didn't want to do what the club owner says and stuff like that. So good for you. Good for him.
Exactly. Truly an idol of mine.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Cool stuff. So I think it's quite unique the amount of music still being passed around like you say as a family in Detroit. I mean, you know, I travel quite a bit, and I mean we used to, and I think that's fairly unique. I don't remember too many towns that have that kind of interplay. You know, maybe a little bit in Memphis, maybe a little bit in New Orleans, but you know, the way you're describing it, Tariq, you know, it sounds really it's really uplifting. You know, it's very inspirational that's still going on in Detroit. And same thing for you, Erinn. I mean, seems like you're getting a lot of support, and there's a lot of support that exists in the community, you know, which really is unique, I think, you know?
Exactly. It's one of the most welcoming places. One of the most welcoming cities I feel like to live in. I haven't lived a whole lot of places because I call this home, but you know, what we've, you know, and what we're given from our community, you know, we give back, you know, through a lot of our time, through a lot of our devotion to, you know, making healing music for people. And, you know, right now what's been really germane for me has been marching in the streets. I've been a part of the Detroit Will Breathe movement, you know, marching and protesting with my drum on, and we've been seeing changes happen based on some of these protesting and some of this outreach that we're doing.
You wear the drum? You wear the drum when you go out, like marching band?
Yeah. I put the strap on my drum. I have not marched since high school, but I'm doing it for this, and it's really empowering. It's a really empowering thing.
Yeah.
So that's a movement I'm glad to be a part of, the Detroit Will Breathe movement.
Yeah, good for you, man. What an inspiration meeting the two of you, man. That's really good. And I'm glad nobody is throwing cymbals at your head in Detroit when you go for when you're trying out for a
Hey, you got to know how to dive.
Ducking and diving.
Well, thank you both for coming in, and best of luck. Just keep doing what you're doing. What can we say? You know, you're gonna be really affecting the neighborhood. I bet you know, all the way to affecting the, you know, the dropout rate. You know, one of the things we work on hardest is trying to keep kids in high school, and that's why we want to integrate the arts into high schools, because it's the arts that keep kids in school. You know, so even for, I know, Erinn, you were homeschooling, but you know, it certainly kept you off the street, right? I mean, that's the whole thing about the arts, man. The arts keep you busy. You know,
learning music is a good way to teach yourself to learn. And once you learn how to learn, that's it.
That's it. So just keep doing what you're doing, both of you, and congratulations, really.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
All
Have a blessed night.
Have a good one. All right. Fantastic.
All right.
Yeah.
That was a really fun interview. I like those guys a lot. I can't wait to see them live sometime. Maybe if they come out to LA or if I'm ever in Detroit or something, I'm excited now.
Yeah.